Good afternoon. My name is Ira Netter Wright, Superintendent of Cincinnati Public Schools, and I would like to welcome you this afternoon to our Transportation Virtual Town Hall. During this time, we will review the process for parents to check their child's transportation, whether that is on one of our yellow buses for our K through 8th grade students or on Metro for our 9th through 12th grade students. At the end of our conversation, we will do Q&A. You will be able to type your question into the chat and the team will filter those questions to us. Right now, we have about 100 people that are on the call, and so we will ask that you do participate and share with others. We have two of our representatives here from SORTA, from Metro, that are here with us as well, and that is Steve Anderson, who is the Director of Development and Innovation. He's on the call, and we have one more of Metro's team members as well, Long Range Planning Manager, Mark Saman, and he's on the call with us as well. Welcome, Steve.
Thank you, great to be here.
Thank you, and we're glad to have you. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and get started. So before school begins, as we know, school begins on Thursday, August the 18th. School begins this Thursday, August the 18th. And I would like to open the conversation with all of our families and all of our parents and say, you know, since our transition on May the 2nd, we have realized that there have been a lot of areas that we've needed to really focus on. We have a new Director of Transportation, Mr. Demetrius Martin. Mr. Martin started with us in July. We have a new Chief Operating Officer, Mr. Chris Burkhart. Mr. Burkhart started with us last Monday. And since that time, and even before then, the team has really worked diligently to make sure that our routes are updated, that they're clear, and that we can share information with families. For those that do not know, we also provide routing information and we provide bus transportation for our non-public schools, our charter schools as well. And so there's only one system for us to be able to route our students in. So it's really important that we are getting that routing done because every bit of data impacts the others and how that information rolls out. So I do want to start with saying that. The other thing that I'll share, and I will share this again during our time together today, is it is important that our families have also been enrolled in a school. So for some of the families, we noticed after we did the upload yesterday evening, many of the 7th grade parents shared that they did not see bus routes for their child. If your child has not been enrolled in a school for 7th grade, then you would not receive a bus route. So enrollment is what triggers a bus route in the system. So I would encourage you, if your child has not been enrolled yet, if you decided on the school, but the child has not been enrolled, please contact the school tomorrow or our customer care line so that your child can be enrolled. Once that happens, we will be able to update and provide a bus route, and for those that are eligible for the buses. And the last thing is we do recognize that this is pretty late. School starts on Thursday. You're just receiving the information for transportation on yesterday. And what I can assure you, I cannot really do much about where we are right now for this year, having started May the 2nd. But what I can assure you, and I will ask that you hold me to it, that next year your bus information will be sent to you much earlier. So you will have time, the appropriate time, to answer questions and to focus. So without delay, I do want to share, parents and guardians, you do want to make sure that your information is correct at your school. So if you're looking on PowerSchool and you have moved, the only place that can update that information for you is at the school site or through customer care with the appropriate documentation of your address. So if you've moved, you shared that information has not been updated, please make sure that you contact your school so the information can be updated, or you contact customer care. All yellow bus riders, and this started on yesterday, will receive an email and a robocall for PowerSchool for you to go into the system and to locate your child's transportation. Families can log into PowerSchool, and we do have the information on our website. If you go to our website, www.cps-k12.org/findmybus, It also gives you information for how to get your PowerSchool login and how to log into PowerSchool. This afternoon, we do want to thank our team because our call center is open today. From our transportation call center is open today from 3:30 to 6:30 to try to answer some of the questions that you may have as well. And our Catholic, non-public, our charter schools and community schools will also receive phone calls, robocalls, and emails about your students' specific transportation needs. So the postcard that has been sent to you, and with the way the mail goes, some may receive it before Thursday and some may not. So it was important for us to provide both the robocall, both an email, both a text, and we'll be doing phone calls as well. But this is what the postcard will look like that has been mailed to your home, and hopefully you will receive it before the first day of school. But if you do not, you do have the information on PowerSchool. So how do you locate the information on PowerSchool? So once you log into PowerSchool, and hopefully you can see it on the slide, once you locate the information, once you log into PowerSchool, on the left-hand side of your screen, you look for bus information. The bus information will then take you to another screen that will show you your child's routing information right on the PowerSchool slide. So if you are looking for a yellow bus and you want to download information for your yellow buses using an app, this is how you can do that. So download the Versatrans MyStop app, and it's in the app stores for both Google and for iPhone. Elementary school staff will coordinate efficient staging of the yellow buses. So we know that this year is the first year that our 7th and 8th grade students are back on yellow buses for regular to and from school transportation. For our students, our 7th and 8th grade students that are in extracurricular activities, they will still receive a Metro Pass for those afternoon activities, but their regular transportation is on the yellow buses. High school staff will communicate where the buses will be staged as they're transporting our 7th and 8th grade students to school. Our Catholic, non-public, and charter and community schools will receive phone calls, as I shared, robocalls and emails. And I also shared our extracurricular activities will receive bus passes for our 7th and 8th grade students. Those bus passes will be active from 4 p.m. to 10 p.m. for our students that are staying after school for athletics, for tutoring, for clubs. So just to make you aware of that. So a couple of questions that we have had that we want to go ahead and answer now, and we will address this again at the end. But one of the questions is, can your child in 7th or 8th grade ride Metro to and from school with their live-in sibling and or caretaker who is a high school student? And the answer to that is yes. However, you must share that information with the main office at your child's school to complete the request to have it submitted. Once that is approved, your child will receive a new transportation ID card within 5 to 7 days. Once they receive that transportation card, the ID card from Metro, the status for your child will change from yellow bus to Metro. So they won't be able to go back and forth between Metro and yellow bus. If you decide that you want them to ride Metro, we will accommodate that. We will cover the cost for them to do that by giving them a Metro Pass to ride with their older sibling. However, we won't be able to keep them on a yellow bus and to keep them on a Metro bus. Since we purchase our passes for our students for a full year, you will only be able to make the change in service at the end of the semester. So if you make that change now, your child would then be assigned to the Metro bus for that first semester. At the end of the semester, if you decide that you want your child to go back to the yellow bus, they will be able to do that. Again, you will need to notify the school and we can get them rerouted to a yellow bus. So I do want to make that clear. This information is on our website, but yes, if you have a 7th or 8th grade child that you would like for them to ride Metro with their older sibling, they would be able to do that. I do also want to share that riding the bus is a privilege. And so if your child is being removed from the yellow bus for disciplinary reasons, that means that they have been on the yellow bus, they have disciplinary action that requires them to be removed from the yellow bus, they will not receive a Metro Pass. So do want to make that clear. And if you have any questions, you can definitely follow up with your school for more information. So now we'll talk a little bit about Metro Bus, and then we will have Steve that will come in and go through the presentation for Metro as well. So again, all of our 9th through 12th grade students are riding Metro. Our Metro riders will receive information and the link for the route lookup. A paper postcard has been mailed via USPS, a robocall as well, and the Catholic, non-public, and charter and community schools will also receive phone calls, robocalls, and emails. Our permanent Metro Smart Cards will be delivered to campuses for our students in 9th through 12th grade for the first day of school. So our students do want to use the card that has been provided for them as their pass to get on the bus the first day. As a reminder, and we are sharing this with everyone, and we're sharing with our Metro team has shared the same. We will not be turning students away from the bus on the first day of school. So I do want to make parents aware and to have them comfortable and confident that Metro will not turn students away on the first day of school. We do ask, however, that they do bring their postcard with them so that they do show that to the Metro driver. Routing postcards are pretty much the same as the routing postcards that come from us for our yellow buses, but many of you have started to receive those postcards already as they were mailed earlier last week. So at this point, I am going to stop right here because we know that we have Steve on the line with us. Our Metro routes have rolled over as of today. And so today it will be a little easier for parents to go online and to find their Metro route because you can put in the date. We would always, before you would have to future the date, but today you would be able to put in the date and your address information where you're going to and from to get your Metro information. So we're going to move forward to allow Steve to come on and talk through the Metro slides, and then I'll be back with you.
Thank you, Ironetta. Good afternoon. Unfortunately, our CEO, Daryl Haley, family emergency, but he wanted me to share this information with families and supporters of CPS. Metro has a long history of serving Cincinnati public school families, connecting students to and from classes and extracurricular activities. We're excited to be able to continue that tradition with you again this year. Our team has worked diligently to ensure that each student has a service option, just like last year, with no more than one transfer. In fact, nearly half of students will have a trip option with no transfer needed at all. For those riders with transfers, most will occur at an off-street transit center that are well lit and supervised, like Government Square, Northside, Oakley, or Glenway transit centers, which are well lit and provide a safe and comfortable place to wait for your connection. We've added more service options with increased frequency on routes, serving schools to provide students with more flexibility to get to and from school if they miss a bus or need to stay after for tutoring and or other activities. And we are 100% committed to providing safe and reliable service to our student riders each and every day. In regards to safety, all of our buses are equipped with customer-facing security monitors and cameras, and our operators and supervisors are always ready to help if a student needs assistance. I wish each of you a successful school year, and thanks for riding Metro. And I'll talk a little bit more about how to ride Metro. I also have my colleague Mark Simon from our planning team on here as well.
Okay, we will ask our team to go ahead and advance the slides, please. Next slide.
So as Superintendent Wright mentioned, Metro student passes are eligible for 9th to 12th grade students. unless it's a 7th or 8th grader that rides with a sibling or the extracurricular. Extracurricular passes are valid weekday for eligible 7th through 12th graders between 4 and 10:30 p.m., and the regular passes are eligible weekdays only between 6 a.m. and 9:30 a.m., as well as 1 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. No additional fare is required with the pass. Student just simply needs to flash that pass to the operator. Next slide. How to plan your trip. So there's a couple ways to do this. My preference would be just whip out the old phone or get on a desktop and do the Google Maps or Google Transits. Simply plug in your home and your school address. Make sure you set the arrive time for when that child needs to be to school, and it'll show you a number of options. In many cases, there aren't any transfers required. However, there are some options that may require a transfer. My suggestion to all the parents that are new to this is do a dry run. We have a few days before school starts. Look at each different option. Many folks will have more than one option. But what's important is that you're comfortable with either where the child is getting on the bus at, transferring the location. So there'll be different options, and it's a good idea to run through them before the first day of school. As Superintendent Wright mentioned, we're not being sticklers about showing passes or anything for that first few days. The drivers have been instructed to just let the kids ride between those times and just make sure we have a seamless first week. Next slide. So if you don't have the Transit app, it's a green app with a wavy white line. It's simply called Transit. You can download that from the app store of your choice. Be sure and remember to arrive at your designated bus stop 5 to 10 minutes in advance. Sorta buses won't have the ability to wait for folks showing up late. Also, the schedules are also up on our website as well. Once you're on board, tap your bus pass on the fare box, listen for the beep. The driver will acknowledge you, find a seat, and hold on if you have to stand. Sometimes these buses get full in the peak times, and folks will be able to stand safely. Next slide. Of course, just like last year, we had a lot of folks that were interested, and we're volunteering. Our whole team, myself, Mark, others will be out there for the first week or so at dismissal time and during the morning at the transfer centers to make sure your child knows where to go, where to get to where they're going. We'll be clearly marked with vests or name tags. We'll be at major stops in schools during the first few days at school. Your information is here. Of course, visit Go Metro for more information, or you can call our customer service line or reach out and email us. Folks are there around the clock to handle any concerns you may have. And it's going to be a great year. Thank you for riding Metro. At this time, we'll show a brief video that kind of recaps what we just shared with you. Thanks again.
It's never been easier to get to and from school riding Metro. The best first step is to plan your trip ahead of time. Use Google Trip Planner to determine which bus routes you can take to school. In your web browser, go to www.go-metro.com and scroll down to find our handy trip planner tool. Enter your start address, usually your home address, or wherever you'll be starting your trip. Then, enter the name of your school into the destination field. You have the option to plan your trip based on when you want to leave for school or when you hope to arrive at school. Just click Leave to toggle between the two options. Then, select the date and time when you plan to depart or arrive. Make sure the date is set to the first day of school or later to get the correct route information. Then, enter the time you wish to depart or arrive. Due to Metro's extensive bus network, there will likely be more than one option for your trip. The trip planner lets you select among the best route, that's usually the quickest, but might involve more than one transfer. Or you can choose the route with the fewest transfers. Remember, no CPS student should need more than one transfer. Or the route with the least amount of walking. Once you've selected your preferences, click Get Directions. This will open a Google Maps page with instructions. To see other route options, click this back button and choose a different preference. Once you've determined your route, there are some other steps you can take to make your trip go smoothly. While you're waiting for your bus, you can track its arrival in real time using Google Maps or the Transit app, both available on the iOS App Store or Google Play. If you already know your route, you can also find all of Metro's schedules online at www.go-metro.com/schedules. Finally, when walking to your bus, remember, if you can, don't walk alone, walk with a friend. Arrive at your stop 5 to 10 minutes before your bus is supposed to arrive. If you miss your bus, do not run after it. Wait for the bus to come to a complete stop before boarding. And if you ever have any questions, please call the CPS Transportation Hotline. We at Metro hope you have a safe and happy school year. Thanks for riding.
Okay, thank you so much. And we just have just a couple of reminders, and then we are going to move into our questions and answers. So our key transportation phone numbers and links. And I do want to remind you that this information is being recorded. It will be on our website, the link to our website, so that you can go back and review this information. If you have questions about your bus or changing a bus stop, or going to a different bus stop, please call 363-RIDE. That's 363-7433, Monday through Friday from 7 to 5. And today they are available from 3:30 to 6:30 today. So you can call that number. Know that there are individuals that are calling, and so you may have to wait a few minutes, but they will respond to you. And that is for CPS. You can also go online. There is a transportation FAQ on our CPS website at cps-k12.org/transportation FAQ. Some of the questions that I'm currently seeing in the chat are on that site, on the FAQs. We knew that those would be common questions, and we released those about 2 weeks ago or so on our district's website. And also, if you're looking for your bus and you need the information for the links for how to find your bus, you can also go onto our district's website on Find My Bus. So cps-k12.org/Find My Bus. So our goal is to make this as seamless for you as possible. I started the conversation today by sharing with you that as a parent, I do understand that getting the information on Saturday for a school year that starts on Thursday is not ideal, and I do understand that. However, starting on May the 2nd, there's a lot that we've had to work through. So what I ask you to hold me to for next school year is knowing that you will receive information much sooner for next school year. If we can put the slide back up, please, so that we're also able to see the Metro transportation information. For Metro, the call number is 513-621-4455. You can also email customer service at go-metro.com, and you can also visit the Metro site and the Metro route lookup as well. So the Metro site is www.go-metro.com/student-transportation. And for the Metro route lookup, www.go-metro.com/maps-.google.com. So all of this will be on our website. Before I go to questions that will be posed to me from the chat, a couple more reminders. So families, I am asking for your assistance. Please, let's have conversations with our children, because riding the bus, whether it's a yellow bus or a Metro bus, is a privilege. It is really important that our students honor the appropriate disciplinary practices while on the bus. As we know, on our Metro buses, we have other community members that are on those buses. We have bus drivers that are on the buses. And it is important that students adhere to appropriate behavior while on the bus. We want to make sure on our yellow buses and on Metro that you're able to get to and from school safely, but we do need your assistance. So be respectful, be responsible. Remember, you have other individuals around you. If you have a problem or a concern, please share that with the bus driver, but know that in order for you to move about safely, it is important for you to honor the rules of the buses. That's for the yellow buses and for the Metro buses. So we will have conversation with our students about this as well. We will have conversation with our students about this as well so that we can ensure that they know the expectation. And trust me, I believe in our students and I know that they will rise to the level of our expectation as long as we share those expectations with them. And so I'm sharing it with you as our family and caregivers. We did launch on Friday our Be Present initiative, and that's for everyone across the community. This is one of the ways that you can also be present, and that's by helping support our students as they're moving back and forth. So we're getting ready to open up for questions. A couple of reminders as we're getting ready to do that. If we have families that are 50-50 families, and that means that you have shared custody. And when we think about our yellow buses, that means for part of the time, your child stays with one parent, and the other part of the time, they stay with the other parent. You will need to contact our 363 RIDE number because we would need legal documentation of that, and then we can do a joint route for you. That simply means that our children are not assigned to different routes. We only assign them to a route. So much similar to the example that I gave earlier for parents that would like their 7th or 8th grade child to ride on the Metro with their 9th through 12th grade child. You can do that, but once they do that, they are removed from the yellow bus route. So if you're a family where your child spends part of the time with one parent and the other part of the time with the other parent, please contact 363 RIDE. You will need to provide the legal documentation and we will get that updated for you in the system. Okay, so I think we're now ready for questions.
Yeah, Superintendent, right? Yep, I'm going to ask a couple of questions here. Obviously, we're getting a lot of questions about very specific routes. And then certainly we know our transportation department will have to do their best in responding to very specific route questions, whether it can be changed or if there's a more alternative route. So we probably won't get into very specific routes today, but I can tell you right now, a couple of them that we're seeing is, my child is going into 7th grade and I'm not seeing their bus route in Power School right now. Why might that be the reason?
Yes, so it is really important, and we started the conversation with this, so I do want to reiterate this for our families that joined us after we opened up. When we opened, we had about 120 people that were in attendance, and right now we have 219. So we know that this is a very popular conversation, and it's one that is very much of interest, so we do want to try to answer your questions for you. The one thing that's important for our 7th grade students, remember our 7th grade students are transferring from the elementary setting to the high school setting. They have to be enrolled in a high school and show enrolled in that high school before they roll over for a transportation route. So if your child is not showing, you don't show a route for them, you logged on, you don't show a route for them. Some of the troubleshooting that we've already done shows that those 7th grade students are not enrolled in a school in our district for the 7th grade. So please follow up with our customer care tomorrow. Follow up with your child's school if you've already been informed what school they're going to so that their enrollment can be activated so that they are enrolled in the right school. As of Friday, all of the students that were currently enrolled to the district had been accepted with the exception of about 300 students. So schools were still working through some of that. So I'm not sure if your child is one of those children that are in that scenario, but it is important that you follow up directly with the school or with customer care so that your child can be enrolled. Once they're enrolled, we're working pretty much around the clock with transportation to make sure that once students are enrolled, their bus information is then updated and transferred over into Power School for you.
Okay, our next question is, and I know you mentioned this, but we've gotten a couple that came after you probably are presenting, is about seventh and eighth grade siblings of high schoolers. Do they have to purchase a Metro Pass, and how do they get the pass? And is it transferred to only using Metro or versus Yellow Bus? I just didn't know if there was an option to go back and forth.
Great, thank you. So for 7th and 8th grade students that would like to ride the Metro with their older sibling, they can do that. However, they would need to notify their school. They can do that on the first day of school, but they need to notify their school that they have a younger sibling that will be riding with the older sibling. It will take about 5 to 7 days. That does have to be reviewed at the school. It will then be shared with Metro. It will take about 5 to 7 days to get those updated bus passes. We are working with Metro to get daily passes for those students in the interim, but they will receive a regular bus card, a bus ID card from Metro. Once that has been approved and they receive their bus ID card from Metro, they will be removed from their yellow bus route. If parents want them to go back to their yellow bus route, that can be done at the end of the semester. So students will not be assigned to 2 buses. They're assigned to either the yellow bus, or if they have an older sibling and the parent would like them to ride with the older sibling, they can be assigned to Metro. Of course, we as the district cover the cost for that. So no, parents do not have to pay for their 7th or 8th grade child to ride the Metro bus with their older sibling. The only exception is if students, for whatever reason, have lost their privilege to ride the yellow bus. So if students have been removed from the yellow bus, then they will not receive a paid for pass from the district for the Metro bus. That's the only exception. Otherwise, yes, 7th and 8th grade students can ride Metro bus with their older sibling. They will need to notify the school. Once the school reviews the information, they will share that information, and it will take about 5 to 7 days for them to get an actual pass from Metro for them to ride the Metro. For our 7th and 8th grade students that are in after-school activities, they will receive a Metro card for after-school activity passes.
Great. The next question is, obviously we're getting a lot of questions about PowerSchool and PowerSchool access. Just want to remind everybody that the Family Technology Desk is also open right now. And we'll post this in the chat. It's 513-363-0688. And as you can imagine, many families might have forgotten their username or their login or their password or the process, and they definitely want to see it. One of the questions we got regarding PowerSchool is when I have a 9th grade student, and when I click in the bus info, it just says student doesn't ride the bus. And they want to say, is that normal for when my student rides the Metro?
Yes, so for our Metro students, where you want to find their route information is by going to Metro. So go to the Metro site. You can download the app on the site as well. And from there, you can then put in your address and your ending address or your child's school, and it will show you their route. So our 9th through 12th grade students are assigned to Metro, and so they don't show an assignment inside of PowerSchool.
We're also getting a couple questions regarding service outside of the Cincinnati city limits, for instance, Mason and some other areas, and they're asking if we have bus service for those areas. They didn't ask whether it was Yellow Bus or Metro, but certainly what we provide.
Thank you. So we provide our bus services that we cover as a district. We provide those services to students that actually live in Cincinnati proper. That means that they are assigned to our school district. They live in our school district's attendance area. And so that's where we provide transportation for them. The thing that's really important about this, you heard Mr. Anderson share, you also saw it on the slide, that our students have at least one or no transfers if they live in Cincinnati Public Schools attendance area. They have one or no transfers if they live within the Cincinnati Public Schools area. While Metro may provide transportation outside of the Cincinnati Public Schools area, that will more than likely involve more than one transfer because the child does not live in our school's attendance area. So I just want to make sure that we're clear. We are committed to having only one or no transfers within the Cincinnati Public Schools area. However, if it's a child that does not live in our attendance area, they might have a route to Metro on Metro where they live, but they are outside of the Cincinnati Public Schools area, and more than likely that would involve more than one transfer. And Mr. Anderson, I don't know if you have anything you want to add there, but I think I covered it for us.
Perfect.
Okay, thank you.
We're getting a couple people are saying that they're trying to get through to our transportation department right now, and we do want to encourage them to stay in the queue. We are open today until 6:30, and certainly we'll reopen tomorrow. But definitely stay in the queue, stay in the line. They're answering his calls as fast as they can and trying to help families. I want to reiterate that point.
And I also want to reiterate again a thank you to our staff. You know, it's a Sunday afternoon at 4:36. It's a bit misty outside, and our staff members have agreed to come into work today to open a hotline so that families can call so that we can give them some reassurance prior to Thursday. So I want to thank them publicly for doing that. I thank you also, parents, for your patience. Because as I stated earlier, this is a bit late for you to get information, and I do recognize that. But we wanted to make sure that you have it before Thursday, and this also gives some time for you to run the routes, for you to check the routes to make sure that you're comfortable with them, so that your children know exactly where to go before the first day of school. And so we do want to thank you for logging on as well, and for your patience as you are reaching out to 363 Ride. They are only open today until 6:30, but they will open again tomorrow morning. And we know that we will receive calls. We're prepared to review those calls. The other thing is, please also, if you do not see a route and you have a 7th grade child, please make certain that your 7th grader is enrolled in one of our schools for 7th grade. So we cannot assume if they were a 6th grade student and they automatically were going to a 7th grade school, if they haven't been enrolled yet, they will not roll over to transportation until they are enrolled. So please make sure that they are enrolled. You can contact customer care tomorrow. You can also contact your child's school to make sure that their enrollment is active, and then they will get their bus route if they are outside of that 1 mile from the school.
Next question is 7th and 8th graders until they get their Metro card to ride with their sibling. Do they continue to ride the yellow bus until they get that Metro pass?
Absolutely, absolutely. There will be some that we will be able to provide daily passes to, but if they can continue to ride the yellow bus, that just really makes it more efficient for everyone for them to continue to ride the yellow bus until they start riding with their families. Metro has committed to us that they will move as quickly as possible, but we are giving some leeway there of at least 5 to 7 days. It could be sooner, but we do want to give them at least that opportunity for the 5 to 7 days to then get that information from us, have those cards individually made, have those cards delivered to the schools so that schools can then give the cards to the student.
The next question is about the expected number of potential transfers on Metro for our students. What can families expect, and will there be any Metro door-to-door routes this year?
Right. So they're not Metro door-to-door routes. So it's really important that our families go on to the app, go onto the website, put in their address, put in their school's address so that they see the nearest route to their home. That's the first thing. The second thing is, as we have shared, Metro has also shared that all of our students have no transfer or one transfer within the Cincinnati Public Schools attendance area. So what I would encourage you, especially from information that I received from last year, if for some reason you put in the information and you see a route and you live in Cincinnati Public Schools attendance area and you see a route that is outside of 0 or 1 transfer, please contact Metro, because what we found is more than likely there is a different bus that the child could be riding. There's a different bus stop that they should be going to, and that's what's causing the challenge, or you're not in Cincinnati Public Schools attendance area. So please make sure that you follow up with Metro, make them aware of that so they can assist in making sure you're on the right bus. And I would encourage that you do that sooner than later, because what we don't want to have is the frustration of you thinking for all of this time, the child has to go through 2 transfers to get to school, when in all actuality, there could be a bus stop that's much closer than the one you've been able to identify.
Okay, a parent asks, am I able to look at all the yellow bus routes to see if there's something slightly closer or safer? What's the process to try to get some assistance if I feel like it's too long?
Thank you. The best thing to do would be to contact 363 Ride, and know one of the reasons that it takes a little longer to get through to them when we are doing something like this is because they give each person the time and attention that they require. And so the question that you have is a pretty intensive question around what that looks like. So I definitely recommend following up and having communication with them. You can also, on the Versatrans site that we put up earlier, and that's also on this website, you can also go to that site as well. But remember that routing happens based on students that live 1 mile or more away from the school, and then the closest stop from their address to the school location. So the other thing that's really important for our families is please make sure that your address information is also updated at the school as well, because that's going to get you the most efficient routing for your bus transportation.
There's a very similar question for Metro too, saying that the route that previously I rode last year was much closer now that it's changed. Is there a way to talk to Metro or anybody about updating routes?
Steve, I'll let you answer that one.
Yes, you can contact either myself or Mark or customer service here at Metro, and we'll walk you through it. We'll get you on the phone. And
you went out at the end, but I think.
Yeah, just I can throw my phone number out there if you want, but me and Mark are here to answer those. You can reach out to customer service. They'll route those concerns to us directly.
Great. And also remember, the Metro app is out there for you. And so it gives you a lot of information about your address and the address that you're going to. So if you need assistance in really helping to understand some of that, our Metro folks are in place to do that as well. So on this slide, once we're done, it will be on our website as well, that you can go back and review it. And at the very end of this presentation, we will put those contact numbers and those contact emails back up on the screen so that you will have those at your fingertips so that you're able to follow up with them immediately. Okay, I think we have the last few questions. Mr. Sherwood?
Yeah, this one actually I'll give you a chance to breathe. This is going to be for Mr. Anderson. We've had a couple of obviously parents with students going into 9th grade who've never ridden the Metro. Wanted to talk a little bit about expected safety and driver training, and what we can do to ensure, that our students are going to be safe going from a yellow bus service to all of a sudden now to like a city transit service. So if you could provide any kind of background on that, I think our parents would greatly appreciate.
Thank you, Mark. All I can say is our Metro buses are rolling cameras. There are 5 cameras on the inside of each Metro bus. There are 2 cameras on the outside. In addition, if the child has any concerns, tell the bus driver. They're uniformed. They're there to help. They will not let a child off in an area that is unknown or unsafe. We have radios. We have communication to headquarters. We will get, in the case that something unfortunate happens, we will get your child home there safely. Other than that, it's a great idea to dry run it with parents. We're offering parents free rides this week that want to dry run their trip with their kid in order for them to get familiar with the system, similar to something we did last year.
And I'll just add that CPS students have been riding Metro buses for almost 50 years now, with the previous door-to-door service as well as on regular service. So it's not new. We've been doing it for decades, and many of our drivers have been driving students around for decades as well and are very experienced in that.
Thank you, Mr. Simon. I've got a couple more on here just to reiterate, because I think we still certainly have some parents that are dealing with households that are 50-50 split. So their student lives obviously 50-50 in one household during part of the week and then another household. How do we manage the waiver process for Yellow Bus and or for Metro?
You're referencing for 50-50 families?
Yes, I was. For like one that might live in Norwood and one might live in Walnut.
Right. And so what we do with that is we start by call our ride number, 363-RIDE, for families that live with one parent for a part of the time and another parent for the other part of the time. We do code those students in our system so it shows that they have both a Yellow Bus route for our students that are K through 8th grade. And then if they would need a Metro route, we can give those students a Metro route as well if they're high school students. So I think that that's what you were asking about for the high school students that are 50-50 or for the K-8 students that are 50-50.
I would imagine it has to be K-8 just from that standpoint because Metro would be based on the routing.
That's correct. So for our K-8 families and I know 50-50 sounds a little uncomfortable. It's just a term that's used to identify that students live with one parent for one part of the time and the other parent for the other part of the time. We do our routing based on this child's address. So if they're with two parents in terms of transportation, and both of those parents live in Cincinnati Public Schools attendance area for our K-8 students, you just would need to notify us, provide the legal documentation that there is shared custody, and we will put them on two routes. If the second parent, if they're with a parent that is a CPS parent in the CPS attendance area for a part of the time, for half of the time, and they're out of the CPS attendance area for the other half of the time, then we do not provide transportation for that. We provide transportation for students that live in Cincinnati Public Schools attendance area.
One thing that I know we've seen a couple people have asked about transportation hotline being available after their student is being picked up in the morning. And I know for the first week or so, we're definitely going to open up our hotlines up a little bit earlier than normal. The other one is the question is about a deviated stop request. You know, the typical, like you said, it could be 5 to 7, up to 2 weeks in the past. Are we going to be doing anything to expedite this over the next next 2?
Yeah, so we'll definitely, so the deviated stop, that means that you have an assignment at one stop and you're looking to go to a different stop. The process for that is on our website under our information and FAQs for transportation. There's a form there for you to complete and the process that it takes. We will continue to work with our transportation team to process as quickly as we possibly can, but to be completely fair to those that are doing the work simultaneously while they're routing students that need to be routed, we would ask that we honor and accept that 5 to 7 day turnaround, recognizing that it may take just that amount of time. So we will do it as quickly as we can, but 5 to 7 days is customary.
I think that we pretty much, I think we've answered just about every question in some context, but we certainly know our hotline is available to families right now until 6. I want to encourage you to stay in the queue, stay on the phone, don't drop off. They're going to try to take as many calls as they can throughout the evening. The other question is, what if I'm new to the area and I just moved in and I don't have any bus information? What can I do to get assistance? Bus access.
Okay, so great. A couple of things. And while I'm answering this question, Mr. Sherwood, if we'll go ahead and put the telephone numbers, the important contact information back up on the screen. So a couple of things. One, if you're new to the area and you have already enrolled and you've not enrolled, we need you to enroll. So you want to contact our customer care center to go ahead and get enrolled in one of our schools so that we can get the information that's needed from there. 2, the school that you enroll in, if the school is a mile or more, if you live a mile or more away from the school, then you are eligible for transportation. For our K-8 families, that is on the yellow buses, and for our 9th through 12th grade families, that is on Metro. So if you've done those things, you've already enrolled, your enrollment is updated at the school, and you still don't see a route for your child, please call 513-363-RIDE, and that is 513-363-7433. We are open today at our hotline until 6:30, and we will open again tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. and that way you can get the information that you need and get enrolled, and get the information that you need on routing for the buses. So I do want to thank you. Our transportation information, the phone numbers, we are going to leave this up on the screen just for a few minutes for you to get that information. I said it quite a bit during the call, but our call center hotline for transportation is 363-RIDE, and our area code is 513, and that's for our parent that's new to the area. 363-RIDE, 363-7433. That's Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. And today we're doing the session until 6:30. You can also visit our website for our transportation. So cps-k12.org/transportation or cps-k12.org/transportation FAQ, which is also on our transportation page. And also Find My Bus, cps-k12.org/Find My Bus. For Metro, the call number is 513-621-4455. You can also email customer service at go-metro.com. You can also visit the Metro site for more information at www.go-metro.com/student-transportation. Thank you so much to the families that logged in with us this afternoon. We will place this information on our website. We do want you to be able to review the information after today. If you have questions, we do ask that you reach out to us directly. School starts on Thursday. School starts Thursday, August the 18th, and we want all of our children in school safely on the 18th. Please visit our website, again, www.cps-k12.org/transportation, and that will give you information for our transportation FAQs. It will give information for how to find your bus, and it will answer some other questions for you. The main thing for our families is we do want to make sure as we go through the year that all of your information is updated in the PowerSchool system. And so some families say that they've moved and they try to change their address. That address change needs to be done with the appropriate documentation through customer care or through your child's school. They cannot change your address at the call center because it does require documentation of the change of your address. So please contact customer care or contact your child's school so they can update your address. Our information is only as good as the data that we have. So if the data is incorrect, you will not get correct information on the other end. So please assist us in this area. Thank you so much again, and thank you for allowing us to serve your child. We are looking forward to an amazing school year, and we're looking forward to seeing our students on Thursday, August the 18th. Thank you to our partners at Metro for giving of your time this afternoon to share with our families and to be a partner as we encourage the continued growth of the work that we're doing through transportation in our community. And last but not least, thank you to the staff. You did not have to be here today. You do not have to be on the call right now. It is a Sunday afternoon and you don't have to be here. So know that you are appreciated. We do appreciate you. Have a wonderful afternoon and know that we appreciate you and we look forward to our continued service together. Have a great evening.